Yeah, I remember one time I'm at a party, and I'm in my 20s, early 20s, and everybody's telling me that as you get older, when you get to be my age, these guys were all in their 40s. You're going to lose all those muscles. Those muscles are going to turn to fat. And I'm like, what are you talking about? But that was their belief. I remember my grandfather. I love my grandfather, and he was chopping wood up north at his cottage, and he's 60 years old. And everybody thought that was amazing that here's a guy out there chopping wood at age 60. So when we talk about human potential and aging, we know people can live to 120. We've seen this. People are in their 90s and their 100s, and they're very vital. So when you think about aging itself, the human body, we now know that you can age well. And I think that's the magic most people want, is they want to age well. It's not about the years so much. It's about aging well. I think one of the things we have to change our mindset around aging is that, what do you want it to look like? And I think that's the challenge people face, is that they just kind of take it each and every day and they don't really have any say in it. When reality is you can age is depending on your lifestyle. And I've seen this throughout my career, is that I've had clients that were in their 40s and they're so much more healthy in their 60s. So really, I think that mindset around aging is you have to change. What do you want it to look like yourself? And that's the power. You have control. And I think that's the magic I want as I get older. I want that vitality. I want to have that health that I can hang out with my grandkids and go skiing with them and do all of the things that I think they would enjoy. So I think aging itself is really a mindset that you have control, and you have control of what it looks like. When you talk about aging, sometimes people think genetics play a big role, and genetics play a role for everybody. A beautiful science that just came out in the 80s is titled epigenetics, and epigenetics is basically that your behavior matters. Back in the day, we used to think our nucleus of the cell was our RNA and DNA. We didn't have much control over the genetics, but now we know through science, through epigenetics, that your behavior does matter, and you can influence the nucleus of the cell, which is really the heart and soul of genetics. So that's epigenetics. I think everybody should be excited about epigenetics because your behavior does matter. And what we do sometimes, we inherit lifestyles, not genetics. And that was me growing up. My siblings and I inherited a really bad lifestyle growing up. We had to break that. So I think that's the challenge everybody's facing, is that, am I going to break that chain? One of the things I hear on a regular basis, the reason I have high blood pressure, I have high cholesterol, is genetics. And if you think about obesity, that's the best telling point of genetics, is that we didn't have obesity in 1970. There really was no obesity. And then today we're at 35% obesity across the board. It has nothing to do with genetics. It has everything to do with lifestyle. In 1970, we had 500,000 type 2 diabetics, and today we have going to be up to 50 million. So really, it's all about lifestyle. So when you think about aging and genetics, you do have control over your aging process. And that's pretty cool. I love that. I love that you have control. So one of the things I like to talk to people about as we age, imagine it's a bucket of health. So you got this big bucket, it's full of water, and there's a tiny hole for everybody in the bucket. So as we age, it's all going out. But what happens for most people is they stick multiple holes in that bucket. And that's a problem, because our age is we're aging faster, our health is getting worse. And then what we try to do sometimes is we try to take a bunch of medications to help patch the hole. But in reality, we're not healing the hole. So I want you to think about, as you age, are you adding or are you subtracting? When we think about aging, there's the chronological age. We can't really control that. You know, a person's a certain age. And then there's the biological age, and that's your behavior. And really, that's the gap that you're seeing more and more people, that, you know, I'm X age and this is just what's going to happen. You know, you hear this every day. You know, Chris, as you get older, you're going to be on a blood pressure medication, or you're going to be on this medication. In reality, that's not true. So when people think about, just because I have an age, the chronological age is, it's the biological age that gets people excited that I can really control this process. So we've seen that when a person is a certain age, that they feel like they're doomed, and other people just completely change the mindset around that, hey, I'm just getting started, and that's kind of fun. So here's a question for you. How long do you think you're going to live? Write that down. Don't even think about it. 3 seconds. What is that number? The second question is, how long do you want to live? Don't even think about it. Just do it. And then I want you to think about, is there a difference between those two numbers? And if you think about how long do you want to live, I want you to think about, what does that look like? Because as I age, that's really what I think about. It's not so much the number, but what do I want it to look like? Do I want to have that vibrant health? Do I want to have that fitness level? Do I want to be able to play? Do I want to be able to think? So these are all things I want you to think about from the aging process. And last but not least, I want you to understand that you have control of how you age.